Alright everyone, it's time for Vermont Issues, episode 88. Vermont is now #1 for breweries per capita. This is sort of like Vermont beer could be its own series because of all the breweries there actually are. Now one thing, some of the breweries that I would have liked to have seen mentioned were not mentioned on this article. Like Magic Hat, Long Trail Ale, but they are mentioning some of the good ones. There are a lot of them. The number has inclined steeply over the last 10 years or so. I think in that time, a half a dozen different breweries actually have opened up. It's quite a few for a state of this size, geographically and in population. Now, again though, we've got that hidden sort of side of alcohol that we do have to talk about, which is it is very funny to see like Phil Scott, at the same time that he's worried about pot and kids might smoke it and not sure about legalizing the whole devil's weed thing. At the same time, he enjoys his photo op with the glass of beer and talks about Vermont breweries and make jobs and stuff. It does strike me as slightly strange. You got to admit it is a little bit. Alcohol tends to be more on the harmful and addictive side than marijuana does. Yet politicians pat one another on the back anytime a distillery or a winery or a brewery opens up. And then, of course, this other substance they shun and consider it still to be a sort of dirty secret that all of their kids, for the most part, are using it. But it is good. The number of jobs that these breweries create, it goes beyond simply, by the way, people working in the actual brewery. Of course, you've got people shipping that stuff around. You've got money coming into the state actually as well, being spent on local economies potentially. So it's nice to have something that's actual production going on. A lot of the ingredients for some of these breweries are from right here in Vermont also. It's nice for something to be produced that can then be exported out as well. And I know that there are a couple of breweries that are just within state. Like, if you want Heady Topper, which is considered one of the best beers of all, I think the Alchemist is the one that makes that. You can't even get it here. You can't even get it in the lower half of the state. You can only get it sort of up in the Middlebury to Burlington region, and I think there's like one place in Montpelier where you can get it. And that's basically all. You have to go quite a distance even from here just to get a can of it. And they only do it in a steel can. Not sure exactly why. They consider it to have something to do with the flavor. Not 100% sure whether I believe that. Like, you're not even supposed to pour it into a glass. It's one of those beers. They're like, oh, just drink it straight out of the can. And I guess it's just a little bit gimmicky or something. But it is good to see that many people employed by beer. Even if, you know, we are facilitating some people's alcoholism. It's, you know, beer, like breweries and also liquor. It's funny, the other part is wine has a better reputation, even though it's just as easy to get drunk. In fact, it's easier to get drunk off wine than certainly like a Bud Light, like a traditional alcoholism beverage, like a Bud Light. You know, somebody sits there and knocks back, you know, oh, I had 6 the other night, but, you know, I couldn't have any more because I had to drive the kids to school, basically. So tonight it's 2 12-packs, and it's basically just piss water. Wine gets the better reputation, despite being just as harmful. Probably worse than most beers anyway. And then marijuana gets an even worse reputation, but I don't see people keeling over from cirrhosis of the liver. I see people who are maybe their liver transplant patients, they're toking up to deal with their pain. I find that a little bit funny too. That's about all. Peace out.